So, learning a language is famously really hard. Even a language like Indonesian, which frequently shows up on lists of the 5 easiest languages to learn, even a language like Indonesian is really hard. There are thousands of words, many different combinations. Each word can have vastly different meanings depending on the context where you hear it. Native speakers will speak at 1,000,000 miles per hour, and the words will just flow past your head, leaving you wondering, what did they say? And then, of course, there's the practice. In order to get good at a language, you need to practice regularly and consistently. Just like learning a musical instrument or getting good at a sport, you need to show up often. A simple burst of enthusiasm at New Year's Eve isn't enough to sustain you. This is where Duolingo comes in and aims to solve all your language learning problems with technology. They give you, famously, a lot of reminders to help you avoid procrastination. They also say that you can learn Indonesian in 5 minutes a day. And on their website, they've also got some research which claims to help you with listening to foreign language, that problem I mentioned earlier. They've always maintained the slightly strange claim that you can learn... hold on, let me make sure I get this right. 34 hours. They say that 34 hours of Duolingo are equivalent to a full university semester. So, wow. Okay. I'm not quite sure how they measure that, but there we go. This is obviously a bit of marketing, and we should maybe take it with a grain of salt. But I'm pretty keen to test that proposition at the top of their website, that 5 minutes a day thing. Does practicing Indonesian for 5 minutes a day actually improve my ability to speak Bahasa Indonesia? Anyway, so I've been doing Duolingo for over a month now to test whether this 5 minutes a day of Indonesian can actually help me or not. And I wanted to, test this rather than to just go off vibes. And so to do that, I downloaded 4 Aussie Year 12 Indonesian language assessments. I did 2 of the tests before Duolingo, and then 2 of the tests after doing Duolingo. So hopefully, if Duolingo works, my results should have gone up. So I thought I would tell you about how I've been learning, and it's not that deep really. Basically, I've just been doing Duolingo as advertised, They say you can learn in 5 minutes a day, so I've been doing it for a minimum of 5 minutes a day. Usually I do a little bit more, but at least 5 minutes a day. Also, this is kind of like the time that I do Duolingo. I usually do it at night, which maybe isn't the best idea, but that's when I've been doing it. Anyway, let's get started with memper verbs and chatting about business. Okay, this is Editing Ian, and I thought it might get a bit boring just watching me do Duolingo for 7 minutes, so I'm going to speed up the footage and summarize my main points about the lesson. Let's start off positive. Overall, the way Duolingo introduces new vocabulary I thought was pretty good. They start off repeating it quite often so that it, gets into your memory, and then they slowly taper it off and change the context. So sometimes you'll hear it in different sentences. You're going from Indonesian to English, English to Indonesian, listening activities, changing the context a lot, which is good. I think that the lessons that focus mostly around grammar points are the best. The ones that focus on subjects and topics were not always as clear. And the one that I'm doing right now about business, I did not like this one. Tak ada, can you get other mortgages other than a house mortgage? I did not like this one. And the reason is because of the English translations. In this section, I spent a ridiculously long time trying to figure out how to form the English sentence in a way that Duolingo would like. Yeah, itu kalimat yang aneh lagi. Because like tourism boosts the increase of consumption. Yeah, like, okay, so as an English teacher, this kind of grates my gears. This irritates me a little bit because this is cool. This is quite an unusual little English sentence here. This wasn't such a problem in the other sections, but here a lot of the direct translations just didn't make much sense. And so I was often losing hearts for writing correct or translations that sounded correct to me, but weren't direct enough for the lesson. So yeah, the business section, it's especially annoying if you're on the free version because losing hearts means that you have to finish your lesson early, right? The other problem is that Duolingo only does formal Indonesian. Any Indonesian speakers who are watching this may see that a lot of the sentences here are quite formal, not exactly everyday Indonesian. And to be fair on Duolingo, this is not a Duolingo problem. This is just a Indonesian language learning material problem. For some reason, most of what you see is all formal Indonesian. It's very hard to find material about informal, everyday Indonesian. So if you're thinking about making such content, please let me know. I'd love to hear it. So those are some of my feelings about this. The other thing that they do quite nicely is if you do make a mistake, they will show you a simplified version of the mistake so that you have a chance to focus in on where you got the answer wrong. Now, it says here that I did a 51-day streak. Just remember that I did the Indonesian tests after doing 45 days of Duolingo. The reason it's 51 days here is because I lost the hard drive with the video of me doing 45 days on it. So, but just to be clear, I did the tests after 45 days. Okay, so I've talked a lot about the test by now and the exams, so I think we're ready to have a look at some results. Let's get the whiteboard ready. Here are the tests, and let's get going, eh? Let's see how Murid Ian did. Before Duolingo, as I said, I did 2 tests, and I tried to, mix up the order a little bit. So the first one I did was 2021. I'm not doing great on these tests. 2021, I got a grand old score of 62.5%. So basically, I just scraped through. I passed the course, but only just. I'm a C minus maybe even. I don't know. Now, remember, I mixed up the order a little bit. So I went back in time to 2020. Not a fun year. Not a fun year for most of us. But in 2020, I was expecting to get a higher score the second time around because maybe I'd learned a little bit from doing the previous test, or maybe I had, just got used to the format. Nah. So I dropped down 5%. Ick. So not passing the course. But after Duolingo, remember we practiced for 45 days? That's not a short amount of time. It's not that long. It's not as long as a full year of study like the Australian students got. But still, maybe I can bump up my grades a little bit. Well, after these two, I went to 2022, and are you ready? Drum roll please, guys. What did I get for 2022? Well, I'm sorry for all of you Duolingo fans. I did not improve. 60%. Lower than my first attempt. Better than 2020, but a lot of things are better than 2020, right? So, okay, but haven't lost hope yet. Remember, I did two afterwards as well, because I wanted to, you know, have a bit of variation, just in case one was difficult. And here, oops, my pen is running out of ink. Oh no, okay, we're gonna have to change color. Okay, 2019. How did we go for 2019? Well, drum roll please. Drum roll please. We got Dhamma. 58.5. What is this thing? The more I test, the worse I get? Okay, so let's have a look at the totals. So the average of these two, 60%. Okay. Now if we look at the average of these two, 59.25%. Ick. I lost a percent, guys. How'd I lose a percent? Why? Okay, now, to be fair, there's some pretty big caveats that I need to just remind you guys of. So this test was not scientific. These, like, remember, I am the only subject, right? In a good experiment, you should have lots of subjects in case, you know, maybe I'm an outlier. Maybe I just really suck at learning from Duolingo, and maybe most people, if you did the same test and randomized the order, that most people would improve a bit. We don't know. It's just me. The other point that I should mention is that 2019, they changed the test format. There's a lot more listening activities, a lot more questions. So it's a little bit different. Maybe that played a part. Hard to say. But even if we ignore the different test 2019 and just take this result, it's still 60% to 60%. I haven't improved. And the third point, of course, these are Australian high school exams, and I've never stepped foot in an Australian high school. I'm from New Zealand, right? So I've never been to this Indonesian class. And a high school exam is different to a language proficiency test in that here they're trying to see, did you learn from the class, right? And I haven't been in these classes. I haven't looked at the same topics that they studied that year. So perhaps it's not surprising that my scores suck so much. But that might just be me nursing my ego. Don't know. Yeah. Either way, I haven't improved much. Bye-bye, whiteboard. Okay, so we've established that maybe Duolingo isn't the best for improving my reading and listening skills in the short term. But what about writing? Remember, these are high school exams, right? All high school exams have an essay, right? Would it be a high school exam without an essay? Well, unless it's maths or science. But anyway, there should be an essay, right? Well, yes. And I wrote essays for all 4 test papers. Yes, I really did that. And obviously I can't mark these essays, but I think with adequate compensation, my wife can. So let's go chat to her and see what Sally thinks about my writing.
You look right.
You look great.
Kotak. Tak sebuah is like A.
A.
So like tiba-tiba aku kakiku menyentuh sebuah kotak. And then aku lihat di bawah meja dan lihat kotak menarik. Oke, aku melihat ke bawah meja, not di bawah meja because like you're not seeing under the table, right? But like as soon as you touch a box,
Yeah.
you go there. So meaning that there's like a process from you sitting and then like looking under the table, right? So like you can say aku melihat meaning that it's like the action to describe an action, because when you say like lihat, it's not really describing a verb or the actions.
Is it more like tengok?
Yeah. Di kotak ada gambar bebek. Do you mean like
Like on the box?
on the box?
Yeah.
Oh, kotak itu bergambar bebek.
Oh,
Kotak itu
bergambar.
gambar ya.
Oh.
Bebek. Meaning that like the pattern of the kotak is bebek picture, right?
Yeah.
You want to say that, right? So yeah, you can say kotak itu bergambar bebek, meaning that
Like there's a painting on
Yeah.
on the box.
yeah, what's painting on the box. So maybe if you want to say like you have like the bath painting on your t-shirt, you can say kaos itu bergambar the bath, or kaos itu bergambar rusa.
Okay.
So bergambar.
Hashtag the bets are great. Go listen.
Okay.
As I sat in the restaurant listening to Sally correct the mistakes in my creative writing sample about a naughty little boy who accidentally summons a demon duck, I realized how important other people are when learning a language. After all, most of us learn a language in order to communicate in some way. For this story about the demon duck and the boy who eats too much, Duolingo gave me the building blocks to write this story. In the religion and spirituality section, words like neraka, surga, dosa, berdoa were drilled into me. So I have Duolingo to thank for much of the vocabulary. But although the foundations of this story were good, nothing else about this metaphorical house story really made sense. The windows were crooked, the roof was flapping around, and the plumbing was totally missing. I needed Sally to come in and inspect the property, explain that this word doesn't mean what I think it means, or that this word order is very confusing. Really, I needed her to give me the tools to say what I was trying to say.
Dan teriak gambar menikah orang bebek setan.
Look at your face.
Bebek setan terang dan tarik gambar menikah orang tuaku dari dinding. What are you about to say?
Overall, it was a very valuable learning experience, and if you're trying to help a friend learn a language, like in a language buddy type situation, I really recommend this kind of activity. It's a difficult but good thing to do.
That's our food.
Oh, that's our food. We better stop.
Yeah.
Okay. So, we've got all these stories.
Yep.
Some of them are better than others.
Sure.
Can you rank them from best to worst.
Okay, so
Which
I
one would
think this is very good. But about journal,
Okay, the journal one on top.
yeah. The journal one on top. Why? Because you make a mistake, but you are able to write or to like write down the hard topic, or like yes, complicated sentence in Bahasa Indonesia very well.
Okay.
Like in here,
It got a bit confusing at the end, didn't it?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you can say like kita ambil kapalnya dan pergi ke pantai. Masih gelap, tapi ada banyak bintang di langit. Bintangnya seperti ribuan lilin. That's very good. I mean, like that's like a poetic one, right? But you write it in Indonesian correctly. And then the second one, I think.
Did I give you all the scripts? Yeah.
This one
What one's that?
about speech.
Okay.
Yeah. It's like very good. I mean, like this like formal. That's why like
Yeah.
you get used to it, like to the formal conversation, right? Because
Yeah.
most of Duolingo lesson are written in the formal way, right? So that's why you kind of like familiar with it. Yeah, it's
Okay.
very good. Like for examples and here it's like only like small mistake. Like setelah cemilan kita akan belajar tentang geografi dan budaya Indonesia. Tentu akan belajar tentang gamelan dan wayang. Tetapi kita juga belajar tentang pulau yang kurang terkenal. Kita belajar tentang Sulawesi. Yeah, it's like very good. You're able to like
Yeah.
write it correctly.
Okay. I'm surprised because that one's also my shortest essay.
Yeah,
So I guess it's got the least.
correct.
Do I have another pen?
Yeah, but actually, yeah, because like this like kind of like easier for you because it's like formal. But I really want like to appreciate the
Bibics.
the Babek story. No, I think I want to appreciate this story.
Okay.
The what we call the Dini wayang.
Dini, the wayang one.
Yeah, it's like complicated.
Okay.
And then yeah, you're able to write it down. It's very good. And then yeah, last but not least is a bebek. Actually, I really like the idea.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good idea, poor execution.
Yes, correct. So I think you can just
there
put
you
it
go.
there. Yeah.
Yeah, I've run
So
out
yeah,
of pens.
the idea, I think the idea of like quack quack or the bebek is like the best idea for the whole four. But
Okay.
yeah, bad execution. But yeah, maybe you can like learn more because mostly it's just like the like idiom or the like not really like formal or the usual language that you listen. I
Yeah.
mean, like from Duolingo or like from the movie, because most of the movie will like related to this to essay
Right.
because it's just like a formal way or like like just like easier to
Yeah.
understand. Like they're talking about like Bahasa Indonesia, they're talking about like Pulau di Indonesia, but here it's just like daily conversation.
Yeah.
So like sometimes there's like a little bit tricky, right?
Yeah.
When you need to like like this, like bebek dengan sayap, bebek setan pukul gelas-gelas dan piring-piring. I mean, like in English it will be like correct with his wing.
Yeah.
He smashed glasses and the plates, right?
Yeah, it's a
But
very direct translation.
yeah, but in Bahasa Indonesia, like we use different structure, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's why like bebek menepuk gelasnya, gelas-gelas dan piring-piring dengan
Yeah,
sayap.
and I didn't know the word menetuk.
Menepuk.
Menepuk.
Menepuk
Yeah.
is like.
Yeah, menepuk. And what was
And then mematuk.
mematuk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, very good.
Thank you, babe. Do you want to know which ones I wrote before doing Duolingo and which ones I wrote after doing Duolingo?
I think you write this buku harian or journal before Duolingo,
Okay.
and then bebek after Duolingo.
Yeah, you saw me writing that one, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and
Oop.
mati.
Mati awal.
Yeah, this is before Duolingo. Speech. This after Duolingo. correct?
Yeah.
But after Duolingo.
Yeah.
But it's like better. But I mean, like, it's like more complex than this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like lots of mistakes.
So the better ones are these are. Okay.
But it's like simple. Yeah, we can. It's like not apple to apple, babe.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, like if you rewrite this two, maybe that will be like apple to apple. But it's like totally different.
Yeah.
The level is like totally different.
Yeah, I chose like with this essay, right? You get to choose the topics.
Yeah.
And I think I got much more challenging topics.
Yeah.
In these last two.
Okay. But yeah, to be fair, yeah, the execution is like bad. But like I mean, like for someone who just like learned, but the language, because like this four or like this two and this two has like different level. So I think if you can like get like B and C plus for this, so it's probably like improving from. But it's not apple to apple. It's kind of hard to tell.
Oh well.
But yeah, good job. This is like more complex. I do understand.
Thank you, boo.
Good job.
Okay, reason 1. Not enough practice. Look, 5 minutes a day is a long time to spend touching your eyeball. That would be uncomfortable. It's a long time to spend eating a single peanut or listening to 4 minutes 33 by John Cage. That would be a long time to spend doing that. But for learning Indonesian, 5 minutes is not very long at all. It's a pretty short amount of time, in fact. So, yeah, probably my latihan, my practice, tidak cukup, not enough. And I think I kind of felt that too as I was studying. You know, usually when you are working really hard, you kind of have more of those, oh crap, how do I do that? Or like breakthrough moments where you suddenly realize like, oh, I get it. And over the past 45 days, I didn't really have that many of those, oh, I get it. That's how the D prefix works, right? It goes there, right? I didn't have those many of those kind of moments. Doing more than 5 minutes should probably help. Okay, so change of scenery. I hope you like the new area. A little bit different from central Jakarta. We've gone out to the Kebun Sawit. A lot of nature, relaxing kind of place back in Sally's hometown. As the influencers on Indonesian Instagram might say, it's very healing gitu. So yeah, let's talk about the conclusions, eh? Despite all of the negatives that I've mentioned, and despite these poor results, both from the writing, the reading, and the listening, I do intend to keep on using Duolingo. I did find it useful for a number of reasons. First of all, I did actually find the notifications really helped me to keep motivated and to keep learning. I did pick up new vocabulary. I did learn new things. And in fact, now that I've been doing it for a while, I think the level is kind of getting to be more appropriate to where I am. When I started off, it was actually pretty easy, and most of the vocabulary I kind of already knew, so it wasn't helping me that much. But now that I've been doing it for a while, a lot of the activities and exercises are at a more appropriate level. Yeah, it really has helped me kind of get back into the rhythm of learning languages. That being said, obviously, results weren't great. Something does need to change. And so I'm not just going to keep on, doing it 5 minutes a day as advertised. I'm going to do it a bit differently. we're going to make a couple of changes. First of all, I'm going to be doing more than 5 minutes of study, but not on Duolingo. I'm going to be doing some Anki alongside it, so I'll be adding in the new vocabulary from Duolingo to the Anki, along with vocabulary that I pick up elsewhere from living in Indonesia. And I want to do something a little bit more intense in the future. I've got some ideas about what kind of activities I might try. So if you like the video, stay tuned, subscribe, and find out what I'll be doing next. But one of the biggest things I learned from doing this was just how valuable having someone who knows the language, like Sally, sit down with you and go through some writing that you've done, because writing really just shows all your mistakes so clearly. When you're speaking Indonesian with locals, you can get away with quite a lot, just from the fact that, people can understand more from context and they can understand more from your expressions and gestures. But with writing, there's nowhere to hide, right? Your grammar mistakes are there for all to see really clearly. And so doing some more of that would be good. And yeah, I've been keeping on doing Duolingo. I'm now at a 68-day streak, so go me. And yeah, this is me signing off. Just before I go, I do want to say again that I am figuring out this YouTube thing. So if you like what you've seen, please subscribe. And if you have any recommendations for things that you'd like to hear about, maybe you want to hear more about Sally's hometown, Sally's village, let me know. Maybe you want to hear more language learning stuff, some adventures in Indonesia. I've got a lot of ideas. And yeah, because this is the first video I've made in a while, it took me a super long time to make it. Super long time. So any tips, help, or whatever would be great. Cheers. Selamat siang. Sampai jumpa nanti. Like and subscribe.